Hello, a very good evening to you. In Scotland, it's 8 o'clock, while in the city of Barcelona, it's 1 hour later. And in a little less than 15 minutes' time, Dundee United will face probably the world's richest football club for a place in the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup. We have the whole match live for you this evening, together with the comments of two of the most experienced Scots ever to have played in European competition, former United keeper Hamish McAlpin and John Greig, for so long captain of Rangers. Let me turn immediately to you, Hamish, because you and I sat here a couple of months ago and watched the Hajduk split match, which finished nothing each, and a repeat of that result, I would imagine, would suit everyone quite well.
I would think so, no problem at all. Any kind of draw or any kind of result to get through, it'll be tremendous. As you said, probably against one of the richest clubs in the world.
Yeah. Now, you played in most of United's big European ties over the last 10 years or so. How difficult is this one by comparison?
It's difficult in the sense that the atmosphere obviously is going to get to the players a wee bit as well, the same as happened in Rome, maybe, possibly. But the fact that 1-0, we went there with 2-0, I think probably a wee bit ultra safe. The 1-0, you're going there, you're not going to be too defensively. Obviously, you're hoping to get things over and done with. A good start, 10-minute start, everybody getting a touch of the ball. But I think 1-0 possibly is maybe even slightly better because they're not going to be too defensive.
Yeah.
And possibly give them a chance to score, you know.
Okay, so Hamish, quite confident, I think. John, what about yourself? Can you see United doing the business tonight?
Well, I'd love to see them doing it, obviously, for Scottish football's sake. I can't think, for the love of me, that Barcelona can play 180 minutes in this tie and not score a goal. They didn't score one at Tannadice. They didn't look like scoring one, apart from Lineker's missing the 6-yard box. But I've got to feel that they're a better team than I watched at Tannadice. And it was a bigger pitch tonight. There'll be more room for players. And certainly Dundee United will have to be on their toes, particularly the first 15-20 minutes of this match.
Yeah, but at the same time, the performance at Tannadice was a good United performance. They could easily have won it by a couple of goals rather than the Kevin Gallagher by which they eventually did win it.
Yeah, they won 1-0, and I think the important thing here is that they didn't lose a goal. This away goal in Europe can be very vital in most European matches nowadays. They didn't lose a goal, and the same he says, they've got one goal to go there with. It gives you a different impression in the game. It gives them a different attitude towards the game. But my one concern about Dundee United tonight is I don't think that Tannadice as a natural playing surface suited the Barcelona at all. The pitch is very tight. The players, Dundee United players closed the Barcelona players down very quickly. Didn't give them any room to use the skills they've got. Tonight it's different. This is a big playing surface. It'll be like a bowling green, and the Dundee United players will probably find that they'll have to work much harder to try and stop the Barcelona players from getting space to use the ball. I think with Hamish and I were speaking earlier and discussing the match, I think it'll be Jim McLean's idea to maybe block up the midfield early on in the game, and he may do that by stringing 5 across the middle.
Well, we can talk about the team formations with both of you in just a moment. What I'd like to do now, though, since John mentioned the new camp, is to take a closer look at it. And United, of course, have been Scotland's most consistently successful representatives in European competitions over the last few years, and hopefully there's an omen in that the Tannadice club's first ever European tie was against the selfsame Barcelona away back in 1966, and United won both legs. The comparison between the two clubs, in every sense but the playing one, is almost comical. Tannadice, one of the most welcoming and friendliest grounds in the land, could probably fit inside Barcelona's Nou Camp Stadium something like half a dozen times. Barcelona's headquarters is not just a sports stadium, but the biggest tourist attraction on the entire Costa Brava. It's a pretty impressive sight, but it's only the Nou Camp's little brother, a 16,000 capacity all-seater used by Barcelona's second string. The real thing, alongside, was originally built to hold 90,000 fans, quickly extended to hold 120,000, and it still isn't big enough. It will shortly be extended again to hold no fewer than 133,000 spectators, about 95,000 of which will be seated. The financial benefits are staggering. Barcelona have 110,000 season ticket holders, giving them an income for each home game of almost £1 million. Surely it's one of the most impressive sights in world football. The facilities, the last word in luxury. No expense has been spared to make Barcelona not just the richest, but the most successful side in the world. Equally, the penalty for failure is obvious. Barcelona have had 23 managers in 25 years, including 3 in one season. Currently, of course, they're under the charge of a Cockney, Terry Venables. To achieve the success their support demands, the club even try the power of prayer. They have their own tiny chapel. The Pope, incidentally, is club member 108,000, and the players have to pass the chapel on their way out onto the pitch. And when they do climb those steps out onto the playing surface, they're met with an incredible wall of sound, which a full house of 120,000 will supply. That is the task that Dundee United will face tonight when they play this richest club in world football. Barcelona, of course, looking to take the UEFA Cup and add it to the trophy room, which forms part of this unique football arena. That really is quite a stadium, isn't it? John Gregg, of course, one of the greatest moments in your career came in those very surroundings when Rangers won the Cup Winners' Cup. Only 35,000 there that night.
Yeah, but they made some racket, Dougie. 35,000 Rangers supporters make up for about 100,000 Spaniards. Just need to ask them at the fair holidays. But no, it brought back a lot of great memories, that the dressing room there. I remember I got presented with a cup in a small room, and all the lads were sitting in that bath, having a bath when I walked in with a cup, and a lot of good memories, but obviously bad ones as well with the fans at the end. But marvellous stadium, and if you can't play football there, you can't play anywhere. That's
right. Hamish, you haven't actually played in the new camp, but you were on the United playing staff in that match I mentioned in '66, weren't you?
That's right. I was at the terrace in the game here when they won, but I wouldn't have minded playing in it, right enough. It looks tremendous. John said it looks like a bowling green, but some of the United players are quite good bowlers, so hopefully they can...
Because there's a backbone of experience in the United side, so hopefully the atmosphere tonight won't really affect them too much, hopefully.
To start with, obviously once they get out on the pitch, once the ball started rolling, it's a game. You know, the 10 minutes, you know, prior to the kick-off, walking out on the pitch and the atmosphere hits you. But once the ball's rolling, then it shouldn't affect them that much.
Hopefully everything settles down. Well, let's take a look now at how the two sides have got to this stage, the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup, and take a look firstly at the rather stuttering progress of Barcelona. United will take great heart from the performance of little-known Albanians Flamurtari in the first round. They came away from the new camp with a no-scoring draw, and how that would suit United tonight. In fact, Esteban's goal in Albania took Barcelona through only on the away goals rule. And the Spaniards had to rely again on the away goals rule in the second round. This time, they did beat Sporting Lisbon by a 0-0 at home, but lost 2-1 in Portugal. And it was only in the third round that Barcelona at last began to come good. They won away to Bayer Urdigan and then scored 2 again at the new camp.
The first shooting star, Roberto of Barcelona, with the celebration of the goal long coming in the 76th minute against Bayer Urdigan quite restrained by Spanish standards. And for a change, Terry Venables' team may not have to consult the away goals rule. 3 minutes later, Mark Hughes rose to score a second and leave the home leg looking a bit of a formality. Barcelona's second leg with Urdigan always looked comfortable with a 2-goal start. But they didn't score until Gary Lineker went off, Mark Hughes setting up Rojo, who'd just come on as a substitute and struggled to take it all in. He'd been out of the game for 18 months, and he certainly enjoyed his return, finding another excellent finish to what was started by Julio Alberto. But the close-up of Mark Hughes suggests that the Welshman's popularity is growing. 4-0 the aggregate.
And then, of course, came that match at Tannadice, which United won 1-0. But that really was significant, the fact that an Albanian side had got there and managed to draw nothing each. United, on the other hand, have had a reasonably impressive run so far in the UEFA Cup, although they did have a very tough first-round draw. Jim McLean was happy enough to come back from Lens in France with only a 1-0 deficit in the first round. And United duly completed the job at Tannadice with a 2-0 win, with the goals coming from two players who are no longer at Tannadice.
A run forward by Scurrock. It's Scurrock for United. The goalkeeper is out. Here is Ralph Wilman, a chance, he's done it! Yes! 1-0 for United. Scurrock. Bannon. Here's McInally, there's no onside. Milne. Must be the chance, it is! Coyne. 2-0 for United.
In the second round, the first leg came at Tannadice, and a 3-0 win over University Craiova made the return journey to Romania a relatively comfortable one. And although United went down by a goal to 0, 3-1 in aggregate was more than adequate. And then in the third round, it was back to Eastern Europe. This time, again, the hard work done at Tannadice. 2-0 to United over Hajduk Split. And then in the sun of a Yugoslavian afternoon, a comfortable no-scoring draw with Billy Thompson in great form.
The watch tells us we now officially have exactly 20 minutes left. Still no scoring. And that's a better shot and it's off the ball. Brilliant shot by Andrea Sevic. I wonder if he's got the slightest of touches. Yeah. We may see from this one, yes, that goes under the category of a quite brilliant save.
So that's how those two sides meet tonight at the Nou Camp Stadium in Barcelona. Jim McLean, of course, United's manager, the master tactician, the great motivator. On Monday, he was almost bullying his players, almost threatening them by saying that if they didn't do the business, there would be big changes made at Tannadice. Yesterday, it was all very much playing it down. He was saying that it was no more important, no more difficult than an away match in the Premier Division, let's say, at Pittodrie. He really is the great tactician, and earlier today, he spoke to Archie McPherson in Barcelona.
Well, it's, I think that the reason we've had extremely good success in past years is due to Eamon Bannon, Paul Sturrock, and the way that they play and attack defenders. And it's a very big, it's a big blow to lose Eamon.
I suppose you mustn't allow it to depress either you or the players, though.
No, I think the most important thing is there are other good players who have equally been very responsible for the good run we've had in Europe, and we've got people with terrific experience of the situation that we're going into tonight.
Have you had to radically alter your plans, though, as a result of that?
That to me is the biggest blow, actually, because we were definitely going to play very similar, and almost certainly could well have been even the same team as we played in Dundee. But without Eamon's running power, then we've got to rethink whether we can just put somebody in his place. If we had a similar player, then it would be no problem, but we definitely don't have anybody that runs with the ball.
It can't really be, for 90 minutes, a backs-to-the-wall sort of game. I mean, that's always too risky, isn't it?
Well, that's why Eamon, Paul Sturrock, Kevin Gallagher were so important to us. But we've got 2 out of 3, and it is essential that they get the ball and get running at the defenders, especially the full-backs, because I think that in these positions we could exploit the weakness.
Do you think you've had enough experience not to be overawed by that huge stadium, a crowd of 100,000?
Well, I think that anybody that plays football at professional level wants to be here tonight, and in my opinion, it's an experience that we all should be looking forward to. And if you're a professional football player, then in my opinion, there's no way that you should be overawed with the situation. That's going to be terrible with the sun in my eyes.
Well, I hope you're smiling after the game, Jim. I know it's a very tricky sun now, but Barcelona are themselves going to be very tricky. Do you imagine a kind of all-out onslaught on you?
Well, I think that they'll be wary early on. They're pushing too many players down, but obviously they'll be wanting us to play around the 18-yard box. And it is absolutely essential that we get people attacking, in particular, as I said, their full-backs. We must take the game to them as much as we possibly can.
Jim McLean earlier today. So no Eamon Bannon playing for United tonight, who is, though, alongside our match commentator. Let's now go live to the Nou Camp Stadium and join Archie McPherson.
Thank you very much, Dougie. And let me say right away, with the Dundee United players just having come out on the pitch, and there is a line-up tonight, and tragically Eamon Bannon unable to play, his bruised ribs, but he'll be sitting beside me and I'll be talking to him in just a few seconds. Now, both yourself tonight and myself on Saturday night were extolling the virtues of the stadium, or at least the attraction of it. It's an immense piece of architecture, but I can tell you right now that it's only about a third full. It's a much smaller crowd than was expected. Very difficult to judge because it's an immense stadium, but I would put it no more at the moment than about 20,000. And since the intimidation of the sound of the crowd has been one of the factors that we've always considered about the Nou Camp, it may well be that that will act to Dundee United's advantage. Certainly they're playing, from what I can see about this stadium at the moment, in much more intimidating environments. The other aspect, of course, that is very important, that whilst outside in the city of Barcelona, there's almost a gale blowing at the moment, because the walls of the terracing are so high, it is very placid and calm down there on the playing surface itself. There's hardly a breath of wind at all. And the surface, and I think I was hearing John Gregg talk about it there, is perfection. And you know that only too well. It was when he played here several years ago, and certainly hasn't deteriorated. In fact, it might even be better. In other words, Barcelona, one of the most expensively acquired teams in the world, are fitted into this amazing structure. But at the end of the day, they're playing against the team, Dundee United, who are as experienced as any British side at this sort of thing. And that, I think, is what Jim McLean has pumped into his players since they arrived in Spain 2 days ago. 21 years ago, Dundee United kicked off in this very stadium in the Old Bears Cup and went on to record one of the most amazing victories by beating Barcelona by 2-1. And would you believe, they were the first British team to win on Spanish soil in a European competition, and nobody has repeated that feat in all of that time. The very famous goalkeeper Zubizarreta getting a good feel of the ball early on, and that is Migueli, the man they call Tarzan. The Barcelona people have been talking about Paul Sturrock and his abilities, because they realized that he tore the defense to shreds in the first game. John Holt. Oh, that was surely a push. And the man who was doing the pushing, Mark Hughes. Great deal of controversy at the moment about Hughes, and sitting way down underneath us is Alex Ferguson, Manchester United's manager, who apparently has come to have a look at him. Story run in a paper that he was interested in Paul Sturrock, who's now on the ball. But that has been denied. Sturrock. Geraldo with him. Sturrock can't get it back. And as I said, sitting beside me is Eamon Bannon. Eamon, I'm sure you must be disappointed you can't play on an occasion like this.
Yes, this is possibly one of the player's highlights of his career, and unfortunately I'll have to miss it through injury, and it's a real sickener. I'm just hoping the boys do well. They've started well. They've actually pinned them back a little bit. Paul Sturrock's got a couple of early touches.
The kind of start, I think, that was planned by Dundee United, who quite clearly cannot camp themselves along the edge of their penalty box. We have been told, of course, by the local scribes here that Barcelona are not playing nearly as well as they should. They're certainly very critical of Mark Hughes. He's going through a terrible period at the moment. But that was Migueli trying to go in there, and I think a challenge by Redmond that the referee didn't like. That's a free kick. Just about 3 minutes gone. Way out here is Marcos. Marcos, free kick. Marcos is a player that United supporters didn't see at Paradise. He's in the team today, and of course, the big disappointment is Carrasco. Disappointment for Barcelona, that is. He's unable to play. He was suspended, and he was certainly one of the most creative and inventive of players in that first leg. And Geraldo, nice little run to the outside, and that has gone over. Let me repeat that this is a very surprising sight. We were expecting something in the region of 80 to 90,000. I'll get verification of it from Eamon Bannon, who can cast his eye around like me. It doesn't look nearly that, Eamon. I would think about 30,000.
Yeah, 30,000, possibly even less. Very difficult to judge. Everyone's spread out all over the stadium.
Marco seeing a lot of the ball in the left. Hughes. Every game for this man is a trial now. Getting applause from his supporters. Manolo. Well, that could be cut off by Redford. No, picked up there by McKinley and Van de Koltazen. 50 touched inside by Victor. And there he is again. United getting players back. There's a wonderful... And we're hearing the crowd for the first time. A very useful save indeed. Well, Billy Johnson getting behind that, and the United defence for the first time looks slightly nervous. First time we've seen Gary Lineker. He had only one real touch of the ball at Tannadice, and he fluffed a chance. I doubt if he gets a repeat of that tonight that he'll make any mistakes. Victor away out on the right. One of the very experienced players, and that will be a goal kick. Billy Thompson. Well, there is Mark Hughes. I was talking to him yesterday, and as I said, there's a great deal of speculation as to whether he'll stay on in Spain or not. Goalkeeper committing himself. Well, the man there earns something like £4,500 a week. That ball stomach. This is what Sturrock was doing in the first leg. Good recovery by Gerardo. I definitely thought that the right fullback, Gerardo, was one of the weak links at Tannadice. Gerardo certainly couldn't match Sturrock's pace. Nice little nutmeg there, Jim McInally. Ferguson going forward. Kevin Gallagher. Young lad with a great deal of promise. I watched Kevin Gallagher, that he is just getting into the picture now. I watched him on Saturday. He looked slightly tired. Had a lot of games. Seven minutes gone, no scoring. Side shot of the Dundee United background staff. Ferguson. Stroking the ball about now, building it up from the back. Which is what they did at Tannadice. No great punch down the field, like to build it up. That's the free kick. Marcus brought down. Roberto. Man who scores a lot of goals from midfield. Migueli. Hughes. Well, see, more than anything else, he felt the turf out there was slightly treacherous. Victor again. There he is. Pressure on that Dundee United defence, and the man coming forward, Victor. You'll see a lot of him in this game. There he is, going to take the corner kick. Manuel Victor made his international debut against England, then winning 2-1. A lot of freedom at the back there for Moratala. Well, United at the moment coping with a high ball into the penalty area. Totally missed by Gerardo. Ferguson on his own. No. Slack looking pass back. Well, we have one or two drums in the crowd, and it's echoing round a stadium that I would think is barely half full now. Hegarty coming in at the back. Corner kick. Back comes Paul Sturrock. Billy Thompson and did that well. Over it did, in fact. There's a goal kick. Eamon, I think one or two players have been slipping at that top.
Yes, I was out in the pitch before the start of the game. It was very strange. It actually watered the pitch quite heavily. Look at the sheen on the turf. I found that strange. I thought that would have suited our team more than it would suit theirs, especially the type of Gary Lineker runs. The ball will skid off the surface.
Kevin Gallagher, a little bit unfortunate there. John Holt fighting back at that. Ferguson trying to cover the goalkeeper. Good piece of work there by Manolo. Now Calderi. David Neary on his own. Hughes. Calderi keeps his balance. One of the great aspects of Dundee United's consistency in Europe is that core of defence they have. Hegarty and Neary. Migueli. Oh, he looked for the 1-2, didn't come. Holt. Ferguson. And at the back, Moratala. This is Manolo. All the way through to Billy Thompson. And I would say a fairly satisfactory opening 12 minutes or so.
Hey, John, you've got on the ball.
Just the one little scare with Lineker getting a clear sight of goal. By the way, you may see down there the number 9 jerseys. The number is quite insignificant in terms of position, because that's Paul Hegarty. Free kick. Sturrock at the touchline. Ferguson. Needs a little run forward by Redford. He's onside. But he's more than that. Well covered by that defence. Nenny. John Clark. Can he run underneath it? That's Clark. Goal kick. And the performance so far, Eamon, has been steady enough.
Yes, I'm absolutely delighted the way the boys have started. Contained them well. Got behind them a couple of times as I did there. Just need to better cross the next time. That's where we'll get our chances.
Hughes. The arms were out. Elbows swinging again. So typical of him. Trying to find his way back into the favour of the crowd after that. And Didn't want to give up. Marcos. Vying for the shot. Bit of there by Victor. Well, I think Eamon Bannon is absolutely right. Every now and again, if you get a close look at it, you'll see little spume of sprays coming up. The players slide along the turf. There is Sturrock. Well, the balls from that flank have not been effective enough. Ferguson. Oh, too obvious. And Holt. Crunching it, but barely. Before there, Manolo. One of the products of the youth system here. Gallagher. Willing to keep it in. Inside by Holt. I like the way United are stroking the ball around, going at this penalty area. Stomach. That's offside by about 10 yards. Run forward there by Ian Redford. And thus far, the United midfield has kept possession well and have certainly reduced the ammunition up front for Lineker and Hughes. Calderi. Victor. The man at the heart of the side. Ooh, bad ball in now. Really got behind the United defence for the first time. Sturrock. John Holt on the run. He's on his own though. Sturrock. Jim McInally. Looking for Ferguson and Gallagher. The most expensive goalkeeper in the world. Zubizarreta. Clark. Striker turned defender. I think there's always a worry, Eamon, about just exactly where you play John Clark. He isn't really a right back, is he?
Not really. He moved from centre forward back to centre half. Took him a while to settle in there, but he's done remarkably well. And really only a player of the class of Paul Hegarty coming back would have displaced him. He's settling into the right back position.
That's Holt again. Always been a very useful player in Europe for Dundee United. And getting the free kick. Well, Paul Sturrock in attendance, but I don't think he was getting anywhere near that towering goalkeeper, 6'2". Much too hard. And Victor is the man who really makes this side tick over. Commands the greatest respect from the Dundee United players. Well, they're making basic mistakes. Ferguson. Holt is in very quickly. Calderi. Marcos. Nice little turn of pace. Calderi. Gerardo. forward, supplementing that attack. And for the first time in the game, United look slightly vulnerable in the air in that area. Marcos. Free kick.
Hey! Fermo!
Didn't like that at all. That was Marcos getting that. And a warning for John Clark. Big lad. Muscular kind of player. He watches it very carefully, eyeing the ball. Gallagher. I think Gallagher quite entitled to swing that way, anywhere away. Marcos. John Holder getting a lot of good tackles in, and there was a deflection, but I think from the Barcelona player. Goal kick. And we've gone exactly 20 minutes, there's no scoring, and it's, I would imagine, Eamon, going to plan.
It's going exactly to plan so far. There was just a little moment there where we were beginning to get bogged down. That by kicks gave us a little breather, and hopefully we can get started again from there.
Victor. Pushing the ball wide again, Gary Lineker. Hasn't seen much of the ball, Lineker, but the threat always exists. Playing it square this time. United have everybody behind the ball. Ian Ferguson. And Lineker, and that was elevated slightly too high for him. He took up very good position, and of course one of his great characteristics is being elusive in a crowded penalty area. That just floated just beyond his reach. Oh, that's pretty strong though. That was a wasted opportunity if ever there was one. We're halfway through this first half. There is a long, long way to go, but there's no scoring. And certainly the Dundee United players were talking to me about trying to increase the frustration, get the crowd impatient, and it'll get through to the players. And here is Paul Sturrock, just a little too much. Oh, McInally, neat turn. Superb tackle, all the say, by Manolo. That's meant for Sturrock. Gerardo. Well, you can hear the whistling, exactly what I was suggesting. I have to say that we got the impression from the press and the Barcelona supporters that they expected to win this game rather easily. Hughes. Gerardo. Migueli. John Holt again, very good position. Having an excellent game, putting in a lot of work in midfield, and his timing is excellent. Sorry we haven't had any replays so far. I would like to have seen at least one or two, but We're at the command of the Spanish director. Hughes, and that's a very good ball. Gerardo, Stark. By the way, that high shot that we have here, and that's where we are sitting, makes the players look like the beauty of pieces. Gallagher. There is only one result here tonight that would put the game into extra time, and that is for Barcelona to win by 1-0. Once again, the crowd whistling in the background. The score is still 0 each, and we've played 25 minutes. Moratella. Here's Manolo. Typical Paul Hegarty defensive header there, rising strongly to the ball. Must be good for the younger players to see a man like that coming back after a 4-month lie-off, playing so securely. Victor. Redford. Jim McInally gets a run forward. And Ferguson. McInally. Almost equaling that performance he put in the first leg. Stark. Nice little turn of pace and nobody in support. I think, in fact, Gerardo took the sting out of that. And they're getting the back bend forward now a bit. McGilley coming up. That was Lineker. Marcos. Again, United tightening up in defence. Gallagher. Perhaps might be more in the game now, Eamon.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing so far. Kevin's not really got a chance to run at that full-back at all. Paul Stark down the left-hand side is doing a lot of work, and there's no way he can keep that up for 90 minutes. Kevin could get going, take the load off him a little bit. It'd be very helpful.
And that's a goal kick. Must say I've been immensely impressed, Eamon, by the industry shown. They're working very hard in midfield.
Our midfield's got a grip of the game at the moment, and that's obviously the important part. Jim McInally's playing exceptionally well. Ian Redford and John Holt are complementing him.
And I think we're beginning to hear the United supporters in one of the very high tiers, towering up even over the commentary position. Stark. Morris Malthus. Holt. Stark on the run again, and he's offside. A beautifully timed run by Stark. Oh no. Let that ball go to the wrong side of him, but give him credit for the run in the first place. And United get the first corner of the match. 28 minutes gone. Out to McInally. There's McInally, support there. Redford. Oh, a little ambitious. Don't give up. He just turned his back on that ball and walked downfield. Now, of course, this Barcelona team are perfectly capable of turning on the screw in just 2 or 3 minutes, and thus United, even though they're playing well at the moment, must concentrate. There is a long way to go. point to Barcelona. Lineker. Victor trying to maneuver it a little bit. Nice done there by Hughes. Roberto. Well, number 10, the man you saw striking that ball, has scored very significant goals, not only for his club, but for the under-21 international side, the Spanish international side, for whom he has played. In fact, the so-called frontman at Barcelona hasn't scored goals for 7 games. It's been coming from midfield. Bit of wrestling going on there. Broken up by Malthus. Stunner. Now Redford. That's a useful-looking ball. Gallagher trying to go in. And Ferguson. And I think United will get a free kick. A very good ball through the middle. Finding the gap. And United giving the impression they have adapted to this pitch very well now. Just giving the impression that if they keep probing, they might get the break. Redford. Ferguson's there as well. It is Ferguson. There's Zubizarreta castigating his defense for that. I think he might have been blinded slightly. Good effort by Ferguson. From this side, I'm not quite sure just how high that was over the crossbar. We've now gone 31 minutes. Still no scoring. It's not the most sensational game I've ever seen, but a very capable, professional performance so far by United. Calderi. Very useful player. The problem with Barcelona, he's not seeing all that much of the ball, but forward comes Migueli again. That was Marcos. That was a little bit careless, but there's Kevin Gallagher. Beautifully taken by Holt. Very good football by United again. There's Ferguson round the outside. And he's pulling at the player, and it's a free kick. Pulling away at Moratala. And what I think you're seeing in United's play at this moment is a demonstration that they're certainly not intimidated either by the reputation of the Barcelona team or of this huge stadium. With the support, which I say at this moment is very quiet. Roberto. Clark. Seems to shut that slightly, which is rather surprising. And Paul Hegarty. Side there of Gary Lineker, being very closely watched by Hegarty, who's not only a marvellous defender, of course, but has scored 9 goals for Dundee United in Europe. And there's Billy Thompson. If there was any sign of anybody being overawed, I think it might be Gallagher at this stage, Eamon.
Yeah, well, he's not quite got the experience that perhaps other players have got in Europe. Obviously, the more games you play, then I think the more settled you become.
Well, it seemed to be Ferguson didn't take off quickly enough for that. Looks as if he might just get in behind that defence. No, Marcus coolly watched there by Maurice Malthus. This is Malthus' 32nd European game. I would say there are about 1,500 maybe 1,000 Dundee United supporters in the stadium. Holt. Calderi, and it slides away from him. And I think the favour of the crowd might be sliding away from Barcelona if they don't pick up the game. Ferguson. It's a careless pass. Clark, yes, throw in. 10 minutes remaining of this first half, there's still no scoring. And that situation could be nothing for good. United playing very professionally, and there's Billy Thompson, clean pair of hands. Redford. Sturrock. Morris Malthus. Little run again, and Sturrock is onside. Oh, the final ball has been running us down, and Gallagher's in. And that was a distinction. Brilliant little throw there by Morris Malthus. And now the replay at long last. Brilliant fighting ball there, and the youngster perhaps just slightly taking his eye off the ball, and that was another excellent move by United. Hughes looking for the shot. Well, I mean, you could call that derision rising around the stadium. Number 9, a kind of marked man. Ferguson. Redford. Well, the whistle hasn't gone. We thought it had. Here's David Neri. Oh, Billy Thompson will be delighted he's had these good saves, Eamon.
Yes, he had one good save from Gary Lineker very early on in the match, and he's came out and clutched 2 high balls, which are really meat to him. And Big Tom will certainly get a lot of confidence from that.
Malthus, I think a bit of pushing. Free kick to Barcelona, and I make it about 8 minutes to half time. Deliberating over this one. Curling it in is, I think, a corner kick. It is indeed. Taken by Victor. Mark Hughes in at the goal post, and Lineker. Morris Malthus beside him. Well away from goal this time. And there's Thompson. Ferguson. Well, one wonders if the lights in the stadium put him off for that. It was a very high ball indeed. Almost swamped by the Barcelona players. Getting the free kick for it. Still no scoring. And Thompson. Ferguson pushed, yes. Free kick to Barcelona. Nudging Migueli. I think a little horn signifying that we have 5 minutes left, according to the Barcelona timekeepers. I make it about 6, 5.5. Well, that's a better looking touch. That was Roberto coming through. Fernandez Roberto. Just to play for Valencia. Cost £800,000. We make it exactly 5 minutes to half time. Barcelona are back in business. United now have to score. Free kick to United. Quite obviously this will help the confidence. They were beginning to be jeered by their supporters, and I wouldn't say a very big support tonight. They're now in front and on aggregate 1-0. Malthus. That should be for Thompson. It was a crucial period, that, Eamon.
It was absolutely critical, just 5 minutes before half-time. Sure, the players' 10th half-time whistle was coming up. Goal was a bit unfortunate. Took a double ricochet off Paul Higgins's head, and then took a deflection of Malthus and away into the net. A real sickener.
And it so happens, often happens in European football when a British team, Scottish team, playing confidently enough, gets to this area of the game. I've seen so many goals lost. That could hardly be called a slack goal. Bit of chance about it. There's free kick. Marcos brought down. Here's Holt. Gallagher. Marcus. First little bit of understanding was found between Lineker and Hughes. Gerardo. Victor. Referee's letting play on. So Hughes is complaining that he's been pushed. Holt. And the pass forward, nowhere near accurate enough. David Nelly decided to push forward. No onside, ball stunner. And obviously Paul Sturrock has to come into this game as much as possible. Once again he's showing he has the legs of Gerardo. That was Gerardo looking slightly unsteady. And I'd make it a minute to half time. 1-0 for Barcelona. Scorer Calderi. He delayed off. Marcus. Down there by Redford. Victor to Marcus. Playing a big part in his game, Marcus. Thompson just getting his fingertips to it. Gallagher after this. Go kick though. And there goes the half-time whistle. The huge Magdalene goalkeeper, David Areta, has the ball as the referee, Karl-Heinz Prischler, brings the first half to an end with United trailing by 1-0. That goal scored by Ramon Calderi. 5 minutes to the half-time whistle. Tragedy that they should lose it just then. They'd played extremely well. They were well organised, looked extremely solid in defence and had the occasional dangerous break. But now they go in and that long walk, and it is a very long walk indeed, to the dressing room for both sets of players and officials. United trailing by 1-0 as we go back to the studio in Glasgow.
Yes, for 40 minutes it really was looking very good indeed. Let's get a swift reaction from John Gregg and Hamish McAlpin. John?
Well, so often happens in European football, Dougie, doesn't it? Dundee United were so comfortable there. Barcelona were atrocious. They were playing hopelessly. And then the Dundee United get a bad break in the penalty box and it's in the net, and all the good work's gone for nothing.
That's right. A very unlucky goal to lose as well, Hamish, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. They got the corner kick and Higgy headed it out against the boy's head, come back, hit him again. It broke. And then obviously the deflection as well, so there were about 4 factors against them there, but they were very, very comfortable. They looked like they were going to cruise through the game. That's but right. Barcelona in the last 5 minutes looked a different team. They've shown the urgency, you know.
They really found another gear, didn't they?
That's right.
Well, let's hope that United can get a goal in the second half, because of course if they do, then Barcelona then have to score another 2. We'll be back with the whole of the second half live in just under...
Thank you very much, Dougie. Perfect timing. The second half commences. United trailing by 1-0, and the consensus opinion of all the press I've been talking to at half-time and other supporters is that they've been a little hard done by, and that's not a bad ball. Redford scored with a chance. How did he miss it?
Great save.
Well, he may hold his pace in his hand. I think there was a touch.
The goalkeeper definitely saved it. A great save.
Well, we'll see from this replay. He committed himself there. That was Redford, and now watch. Paul Sturrock hits it, and the goalkeeper got the touch. Corner kick. Well, a very good response by Dundee United to this situation. Coming back and within a minute declaring their intention to take the game into that penalty area. Free kick. Morris Malpas. That's Malpas. Sturrock. That's a good start, Eamon, isn't it?
That's a fantastic start. That's the type of thing we've got to do, get behind them, get crosses in. Paul Sturrock's so unlucky there, the goalkeeper. Pulling up a remarkable save. I don't know how much he knew about it. Deflecting the ball past the post.
That's the free kick. backward touch by Gerardo. Hughes. Corner kick. Good defensive work again by Malpas against this very tough player who is really fighting to win the affection of the Barcelona supporters. Marcos, who's had a very good game, taking this corner kick. Victor trying to put it through. Marcos. Up they go. And away in the far side. Calderi, the goal scorer. That's the goal kick. Difficult stage there for Dundee United again. Lovely chip ball there. And slightly too high for everybody. Beautiful reverse pass, Sturrock. Malpas. Ferguson. Here's Sturrock. Nice little ball through. Gallagher. And brilliantly saved by Zubizarreta. Off his line instantly to smother that. And that's a free kick, surely. Gallagher brought down. Paul Sturrock away in the far side. Clark, I mean, he was rather surprised by that. Big central defender seemed to give the impression that he was taken totally unawares that the ball came through to him. Paul Hegarty going out there to cover. McAnally. Athletica trying to get a shot in. Hughes in close attendance as well. Now here's Gallagher. No, I think I would echo what Eamon Bannon has been saying about Gallagher. Certainly it's a daunting experience for the youngster in a setting like that. But he hasn't given as much as one might have expected. Jim McAnally, beautiful little reverse pass. And that was Redford. Until they get over near him, no, but that's put in the tracks of Hughes. Now Marcus. He'll try and get his shot in the... Great effort by Marcus. We didn't see him at Paradise, but we really have seen him tonight. Very much in evidence on both the left and the right. Getting it to that favourite foot of his and letting rip. Way by John Clark. Marcus playing with great confidence. Big turn and away by United to Redford. Now to Ferguson. Paul Sturrock. I think he wanted it back. Sturrock. Gallagher come across to the swing. Good reverse pass. Morris Malpas. Oh, not hard enough. Here's Gallagher. There's the touch across. I think United might get a free kick out of that. Oh, you really got to hand it to United. That was a terrible body blow just before half-time, and now they've come out, played intelligent football, they've been aggressive, and that Barcelona goal has been put at risk. You'll be pleased about that anyway, if not the scoreline, Eamon.
Yes, it's a great game now, actually. End-to-end stuff. Marcus is a danger man for them at the other end. They sent over 2 great crosses, had a great shot. But we're doing well. A couple of chances.
So, Ian Redford comes loose. John Holt couldn't quite get the shot in. Up went the hands there as if they thought it might have been a penalty. Stabbed through. Well, that's twice the United players inside 30 seconds complained to the referee about handling. Gallagher. United playing extremely well again. This is Young. This is more like Gallagher going at a defender. I'm quite sure his manager must have said something to him at half-time. Startup. Well, Paul Hegarty come forward. Lineker. Lineker's had 1 shot at goal and been rarely seen in the game. Neri could only knock it to Victor. There's Victor, and he's letting it all away. And shaking his head rather ruefully. Right at the heart of this Barcelona side, Victor. Redford. Well, we're accustomed to this situation in Europe. There's a lovely touch. Here's Gallagher. He's looking for a little support on his own, and he ran out of ideas. And I think Jim McInally was a bit annoyed with him there. He seemed to give up. Marcos is after this. Pushed by Hegarty. Saying we're accustomed to this European situation where a team goes 1 goal in front, but they therefore give the impression that they're fully aware of if they lose another goal, the game might be beyond them. If United could put 1 in here, then Barcelona will be in real trouble, even though they're 1-0 up. Gallagher. There he is again. Victor there. Well, that wasn't a good ball by Victor. Taken well though by Moratella. Marcos. What an improvement of a game in the second half all the same. Sturrock. Far side, Ferguson waiting for it. That was good play by Victor again in that defensive situation. And one would have thought that there should have been a run forward by the Barcelona players on the left. Ferguson trying to go around there. Holt. Superb ball. Marcus. Oh, right behind the defense. Hughes. Thompson might just stop that. No, he doesn't. Corner kick. And Hughes being given that opportunity. It was a very quick one. He didn't have much time to get his balance. Yet again, the very good Dundee United defensive formation thwarting him. Tried to put it to the near post. Gallagher was back. Ferguson. And Barcelona pushing forward. Marcus wants a 1-2. Redford. Calderi. Lineker. Gerardo. Calderi, Gerardo. Ball sliding away from him. We've gone 14 minutes of the second half, Eamon, and I think United's performance in the second half is creditable, to say the least.
Yes, if I was a neutral observer, I would think this is a very good game, the second half. I thought that was one of their better chances just a couple of minutes ago when Marcus was out on the left-hand side, and luckily for us it was a bad ball into the middle.
Referee giving the decision to United. Gallagher. Been too easily beaten in certain tackles tonight. John Holt getting bogged down. Beautiful play by Lineker. Marcus. Tempting ball, and there's Billy Thompson, and as Eamon said, he's been playing with confidence, good eye, safe hands. Redford. Well, great ball by Redford, one of the best of the night by him. Paul Sturrock to McInally. Redford. Here's Sturrock. And he does get it over, and there's Zubizarreta. Clark. Holt. Run forward there, and no chance. Two Barcelona defenders. And Marcos is limping rather heavily. And I think that has been spotted by the Barcelona bench. They're warming a substitute up. Sturrock. Weaker one. Rocco is warming up at the moment for Barcelona. Moratala. Gary Lineker has come back very deep. Roberto. Calderi. Made a lot of ground tonight, Calderi. Hughes, Calderi. Oh, well read by Redford. And a lot of space there for Gallagher. Allowing players to come up alongside him. Redford. No, bad ball by Redford, giving Gallagher no chance. Really got to have the ball hit ahead of them. There's Morris Malpas. Stunnock. Just two marvellous games against Barcelona. No handling. Certainly ball Stunnock thought he had. Hughes turns on that and turns well. Again, they're getting players forward as many as they can now. That's Manolo. And Thompson takes it easily enough. Hasn't been bothered by that at all in the air tonight. Well, you're keeping your eye on Gary Lineker there, Bannon. You may have been even marking him tonight in one sense.
Yes, he's actually getting a bit frustrated now. He's going back into midfield to try and get things moving along, I think. Trying to get running out of defence. Suits us.
That was Kildare. Gave an almost apologetic wave there to Victor as he passed that ball, as if to say, there's nothing else I could do. Oh, brilliant tackle. That was Malpas. That is a lot of European experience, Malpas. Jim McInally.
I don't know why they don't take Marcus off. He's really hobbling. This is really a passenger at the moment.
Redford. McInally. Gallagher was making a run. Exactly 20 minutes gone. Oh, Redford. And a bit unfortunate there. And off he goes, the player that we've been talking about. Marcus has been hobbling about for the past 5 minutes. And Rocco is on. Roars of approval from this crowd. And from that low shot, you're seeing the best of it. The upper tiers are virtually empty. Morris Malpas. Victor. Oh, just touched there by John Clark. This is the sub Rocco. Not high enough, but showing already how tricky he can be. Hughes trying to lay it off. Just gets away with it. Gerardo. Kildare. Well, I said at the start, and you don't want to tempt Providence, but I did say that the only score that would produce extra time is 1-0 tonight for Barcelona. Rocco. Oh, Lineker was screaming for it in the box. That was Roberto. And out it goes to McInally. Oh, McInally rather easily beaten. There's Roberto. And Barcelona now steadily exerting pressure. Rocco, man who's made a difference, is coming on. Fresh pair of legs has done this side a lot of good. We're halfway through the second half. On aggregate, 1-1. Rocco. A lot of the ball on the left. That had to be made successfully. And Paul Hegarty going forward. Sturrock will, I think, have to come back for that. Hegarty made his run. He's done that twice in the game so far. Now McInally. Sturrock. Oh, free kick, surely. No? Well, a little unfortunate, Sturrock, I thought. Lineker. Looking for his opening. He's only had that one shot at goal. And that was Roberto, he said. Roberto coming up. Lineker did all the work for him. Lineker has been lying much deeper. He's been really out of touch in this game and has had to go seeking the ball. That's Rocco. Gallagher back with him. John Clark. And Clark has played steadily enough at right back. I know he's been put under a little pressure, but...
Yeah, they took Rocco out there to try and put a bit of pressure on John.
And here's Redmond. Still has it as the chip across. I think the Dundee United players were claiming that Ferguson might have been pushed, and he went for that. It was a very good ball indeed. Excellent play there by Redford. Now watch this. And Ferguson did get the touch. Might have been a little pressure behind him.
Yeah, I think he was put off more than pushed.
Clark. McInally. Turning out to be one of the best midfield players in Scotland. There's McInally in the run in just about a yard. Too much. Yes, Jim McInally trotting away there. Surely he must be considered for an international cap at some time. Minutes of the game of the second half gone. Victor. Rocco waiting there, and so is Compton. Redford. You have to say about United that they have played very well in a different fashion altogether in the second half from the first. They've really taken the game more to Barcelona, created some excellent chances for themselves. And I think you have to say that because sometimes it does tempt Providence. We were praising them just before half-time when they tragically lost that goal. Sturrock to Ferguson in there, and it's a goal kick. Well, I see Paul Kinneard is warming up, Eamon.
Yes, I think the manager's possibly thinking about making a substitution, bringing on a set of fresh legs. They'll most certainly be up front. Possibly Kevin Gallagher.
Here's Redford. Gallagher. Offside. Victor, the man who's been masterminding the moves in midfield. Lineker, as we said, coming back more and more into midfield to try and pick up. Here's Ferguson just beyond him. Neary. Solid as ever. Always an excellent jumper for the ball. Good timing. Ferguson. Well intentioned there. He had Stark coming up and support behind him. Calderi. Hughes. Lineker. Well, he saw the goalkeeper had advanced slightly and he wanted to come out and just gently chip it towards the net. Aggregate score 1-1. John Clark away in the far side. Calderi. Moratella looked a little frantic there. He thought there might be a Dundee United player just behind him. Exactly 15 minutes remaining. Barcelona are in the lead by 1-0 the aggregate 1-1. There he cuts it off splendidly. Here's Sturrock. Malpas trying to strike. Ferguson with it. Gallagher. Again the youngster finding himself outnumbered, and he looks physically quite fragile against these strong Barcelona defenders. Oh, I think I heard you touching there, Eamon.
I didn't see any foul there at all. Matthews grabbed the ball.
Free kick to Barcelona. Victor once again with it. Touch there by Lineker. It tripped and a hung so low. But I think Lineker thought it was going over the crossbar anyway. Seemed to have given up. Barcelona get the corner kick. A good attentive piece of goalkeeping. Calderi this time. The inner cross. Covered there by Morris Malpas. Coming in very strongly. And this is where United really have to hold together. Only 3 players outside the penalty area. That's Gerardo. And yes, pushing there by Rocco. Substitute. Free kick to United. Victor. Still pushing excellent passes forward. And David Denny always takes a safe way out. Victor obviously indicating to the crowd he wanted a bit of support, somebody coming towards him. Gerardo. Hughes. Another corner. Ten corners to Barcelona in the game thus far, with just under 12 minutes remaining. Well, Gallagher stood and watched that. Starkin defending. Victor! I think indicating a goodly effect on him as he went for it. Well, I'm sure United didn't want the prospect or the reality of playing extra time, but at least they are still in the competition. But there is only 11 minutes of the second half remaining. Well, Barcelona seem to be picking up the pace of the game, and that is a very strong pass, and Rocco just keeps it in. Does very well there. Now the comeback is important. That is awful. Well, there's so many players coming into that penalty area. Paul Hegarty seems to be in trouble just outside the centre circle. And the referee is not stopping the play. There he is, just picking himself up. Exactly 10 minutes left. That was Gualtieri, and that's the free kick. And however innocent Redford tries to appear, the referee points to the spot and mutters a word in his ear as he passes. Free kick. Victor shaping to take this. Has to play it wide. Well, seems to me that Gallagher went for the ball. Another free kick. United have their players back, and that was ahead of John Clark and McInally. On hesitation. As Gerardo makes that cash of it. I'm just wondering, Eamon, if the players had prepared themselves in any way, mentally at least, for extra time.
I think there will be now. Sensing at full time, just a few minutes away. Both sets of players are tired. Possibly our boys more than theirs.
Balbus. Was a beautiful little ball through, but the flag is up on the far side. Paul Hegarty obviously recovered. Nearly got that. Malpas. Towards Gallagher. Good chance of getting that in the air. Deeply to McAnally. Here's Holt. Now Ferguson. Holt. Ferguson making tracks for the penalty area. McAnally. On towards Ferguson, and the linesman has a flag up again. Offside, and it may well be, Eamon, that we're seeing some at least small signs of leg weariness in one or two players.
Yeah, you've seen Victor earlier on there miscontrolling the ball with David Neary. That's pure tiredness that caused that. It was good to see our boys keeping possession for a little while, making them run about.
Just kept in by Rocco. And United have defended well in this game. So it's been a well-structured defence. Roberto. Calderi. Easily brushed away. Malpas suddenly finding himself on the outside right position. Oh, it's a great run by Malpas. Trouble is he couldn't play it off. Barcelona got the defence back. Now Sturrock. Oh, brought down badly. And they simply haven't been able to cope with Sturrock. They didn't do it at Tannadice, where he has certainly a bigger share of the ball, and they haven't been able to do it tonight. So free kick, 5 minutes of the game remaining. That's the scoreline in the background. Aggregate, though, is 1-0. Substitution as Urbano comes on after United have scored one of the most important European goals in the history of the club. Barcelona have now to score another 2 goals.
There's only 5 minutes to go. Fantastic time to get a goal.
There's no whistle yet, and here's Redford. To go. Can United hold out? Against the European millionaires. Oh, that's a tricky one. Well, you probably saw at the start of the program the illustration of the difference between the two clubs and the two stadia. There's one thing that cannot be equaled, and that's the Dundee United spirit, which is the size of this stadium. Perhaps something that has been lacking in Barcelona's plays. They are technical, individually very skillful, but the sheer determination and perseverance of United has apparently paid off. Morris Malpas, Sturrock, here's Redford. And they can take the time. I make it 3 minutes remaining. Sturrock. He must be very tired down there, but also appreciative of the fact that it's triple for Barcelona to save themselves. And make no mistake about it, this will shock Europe. Everybody expected, except these supporters there, everybody expected Barcelona The semi-finals now looming for United, and certainly deservedly so. I make it exactly 2 minutes left. United 2-1 up in aggregate. There's Malcolm. Now, United have a very loyal support, and you can hear it in the background. Not the same size of support as other clubs, but I hope the whole of Scotland is rejoicing tonight at what they have accomplished here. There's been no fluke. Redford. Here's Sturrock. United keeping possession. And I'm keeping my eye on the watch. Here's Sturrock as the offside. Sturrock. Could he kill it? There's a chip. He might do it. Oh, magnificent. Ferguson scores. And the Barcelona crowd are rising to them and applauding. 2-1 for United on the night. 3-1 in aggregate, and Sturrock, one of the stars, looking up, skipping, and there, Ian Ferguson, running it in. The man who has taken United right to the front, Paul Sturrock, setting it up for Ian Ferguson, and the United supporters are going to enjoy themselves down the Ramblers tonight. This must now be one of the best results a Scottish club has ever had in the history of European football. And so far, with seconds remaining, a repetition of the score of 21 years ago. A quite superb achievement, and they are entitled to get into the Vino Palazzo tonight. And there goes the final whistle. Dundee United are through to the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup. A certainly deserved achievement. Coming here and beating one of the most expensively acquired teams in Europe within the first half. A sturdy defensive display, and then from the worst goal in the second half, taking the game to Barcelona. They might have gone into the have scored a goal early on in that second half, and perseverance has got them through. Perseverance ladled liberally with skill and good finishing, and pluck as the dejected Barcelona team go down the tunnel. There are the United Warriors. Eamon, I know you're deeply disappointed you didn't play, but you must be very proud.
My heart's bursting, Archie. A fantastic result. I honestly thought we had the better chances in the second half, with Ian Ferguson and Paul Sturrock having two great chances, and then scoring when we did just killed the game.
And there the United team, as the Barcelona supporters look, I think, bemused and befuddled. The United team goes to their small bunch of supporters, and now the Barcelona crowd are actually being applauded by the Barcelona crowd drifting out. Quite astonishing that in their 74th European tie, there they are, they've stunned the millionaires. They are happy, they're tired, and there is a very proud scoreline, I'm sure to be appreciated back in the Glasgow studio.
Absolutely, Archie. There'll be a few San Miguel sank in Barcelona tonight by these Dundee United fans. The three of us leapt out of our chairs a couple of times, as I'm sure you did at home. Let's go firstly to the man who shared in so many of United's great European performances, Hamish McAlpin. Perhaps the greatest night of all, Hamish.
Tremendous. Unbelievable. There'll be a few San Miguel sunk in the dressing room as well, probably. But unbelievable. I was predicting 1-1. John wasn't too confident, but I'm glad I never had a wee bet with him right now. But I would have settled for one each. But unbelievable.
To go out there and actually win, not only the tie, but to win the match is quite remarkable. John, they did it playing great football, playing much the better football.
Yes, I thought it was a first-class performance from Dundee United, apart from about 10 minutes there in the second half where Barcelona put them under a little bit of pressure, not much. It was a great performance, a great performance away from home in Europe. And I agree with Eamon Bannon. I think Dundee United had probably the better chances in the whole game. And I'll tell you one thing, if Terry Venables wants to stay at Barcelona, I would sell Lineker and Hughes and buy myself a defence.
Yes, they were so disappointing, this was the thing. Well, let's take a look at the 3 goals we saw tonight. The first of them, obviously, created long faces all round because it came for Barcelona just 5 minutes before the end of a first half, which United really had dominated, and it came from Calderi.
We make it exactly 5 minutes to half time.
So Barcelona 1 goal up, if a little luckily, with Paul Haggerty's header ricocheting and then the shot itself probably taking a deflection. But early in the second half we saw a move which was to prove, I think, a little bit significant, because Paul Sturrock created havoc on the left, and then when the goal finally did come with just 5 minutes to go through Big John Clark, it came from exactly the same position. And all from a man who almost didn't make the side with Paul Haggerty being fit again. We thought that John Clark might not have made the side. But a great goal, a great defender's goal, John, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, typical goal from a defender coming up for a set piece, Dougie. But the marking by the Barcelona defenders was absolutely diabolical there. I mean, it was the same at Tannadice. The amount of balls that they could play across the face of that goal at Tannadice, the Dundee United players, and there tonight, the defence is terrible. I mean, if an amateur team on a Saturday did that, you would create ructions with the team. I mean, but the basics. How many times tonight did you see Dundee United players getting the ball and running 40 yards before they came to a Barcelona defender? I mean, the basics in the game, I can't understand how they play that way.
Yeah. Hamish, from a goalkeeper's point of view, Archie said he's the most expensive goalkeeper in the world. He didn't look it tonight, did he?
I was just saying to John, I think the man at the end of the wall just moved off that wee bit and he went back. You know, I didn't actually think he saw the ball coming across. Actually, when Ian Redford kicked it, I don't think the goalie actually saw the ball. It looked as if he should actually probably come from it, if he'd seen it. But I just said to John at the time, I thought he'd lost sight of the ball being kicked with the defender moving.
And at that point onwards, the goalkeeper's always struggling.
That's right, yep.
Well, we're delighted, obviously, with that goal, because that left Barcelona needing to score 2 in the last 5 minutes, which was never really on. And then, of course, the icing on the cake came with that marvellous final goal. And just look how long we wait here for the cross to get dropped right onto the head of Ian Ferguson.
United keeping possession. And I'm keeping my eye on the watch. Here's Sturrock as to offside. Sturrock, could he kill it? There's the chip. He might do it. Oh, magnificent. Ferguson scores. And the Barcelona crowd are rising to them and applauding. 2-1 for United on the night. 3-1 in aggregate, and Sturrock, one of the stars, looking up, skipping, and there, Ian Ferguson, running it in. The man who has taken United right to the front, Paul Sturrock, setting it up for Ian Ferguson, and United supporters.
And Paul Sturrock waited and waited and finally made the cross. He had forever to play that ball, Hamish, didn't he?
That's right. The game was dead anyway, Dougie. I think they knew that. They actually claimed for offside. It looked as if Ian Ferguson might have been offside, but the ball went wide to Paul. He done well, and the goalie committed maybe possibly a wee bit too far. But as I say, the game's finished, and it was just a beautiful wee chip.
Yeah.
One of his better ones, and Fergie just sunk it away. It actually could have been a penalty kick. The number 4, I think it was Manola, had an elbow at. I think it was Fergie had gone back into the box, but. the game was dead, but that just made it tremendous.
Yeah. Great. Smiles all round. So, United in the draw for the UEFA Cup semi-finals. They reached the European Cup semi-final, remember, 3 years ago. So let's take a look at the rest of tonight's results and see who United might be facing in those semis. Beginning with the UEFA Cup, Barcelona 1, Dundee United 2, as we've seen. United through 3-1. Vitoria Guimarães 2, Borussia Mönchengladbach 2. It's the Germans who go through 5-2 on aggregate. Swarovski Tirol 2, Torino 1, and again it's the Austrians who go into the draw. And finally Inter Milan 1, Gothenburg 1, and it's Gothenburg who go through on away goals. So on to the European Cup. Anderlecht 2, Bayern through 7-2 in aggregate. Dinamo Kiev 2, Besiktas Istanbul 0. Dinamo Kiev go through 7-0. Real Madrid 2, Red Star 0. 4-0 to Real on aggregate. Brøndby-Bern 1, Porto 1, and it's the Portuguese who go through. And finally in the European Cup Winners' Cup, Vitória Sofia Bulgaria 0, Real Zaragoza 2, 4-0 to the Spaniards. Ajax Amsterdam 3, Malmo 1. Ajax going through 3-2. Torpedo Moscow 3, Bordeaux 2. And the French go through on away goals after a 3-3 aggregate scoreline. And finally, Sion 0, Lokomotiv Leipzig 0. The East Germans go through 2-0 on aggregate. So there we are then. Let's... The one English result played tonight, just before we leave you, in the Today League First Division. Liverpool confirming their position at the top of the division, where else 2-1 over Queen's Park Rangers. A last word then from our two studio guests tonight, John Gregg and Hamish McAlpin. John, that must-read is one of the best results ever by any Scottish side.
Without a doubt, Dougie. I think that's a magnificent result for Dundee United. They thoroughly deserved it. One of the best results any Scottish team's had abroad. And just looking at the teams left in this cup, Dundee United could go the whole way.
Yes, absolutely. There's nothing there that they should be terribly frightened of.
I saw Borussia Mönchengladbach against Rangers, 2 games. Very, very lucky to beat Rangers. United on this form could play any of them. If they can go to Barcelona and get a result, they can play against anybody.
Yes, as Archie said in the commentary, Hamish, that result will reverberate around Europe, and United are got to be among the favourites now.
Well, looking at it, they've played Borussia Mönchengladbach 4 or 5 seasons ago and they beat them. John said they were lucky to beat Rangers. There's nothing to fear now. That's a tremendous psychological boost for United. I think everybody's saying they'll freeze on the night after a Roma affair. It proved that they can do it.
Yeah, so you played that awful afternoon in Rome, and I think we can say now that United did freeze a little bit. I don't think that'll happen now.
I don't think so, no. That result tonight proves that they've become of age. You know, to go there and win in a stadium like that, they said there was 35,000, it doesn't matter, it's a tremendous stadium. The atmosphere had to be good, doesn't matter what it was.
Right.
But the Barcelona team, I don't think they played that well.
Great stuff. Thanks to you both for joining us tonight and sharing in this delightful night for Scottish football. Let's leave you tonight with the happy news that Dundee United are now through to the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup. That marvellous 2-1 win over the Spanish millionaires of Barcelona. It's a great night for Scotland and for Dundee. From all of us, good night.